Good evening, welcome to our webinar, and today I'm going to present Digi Up, 8th annum. My name is Sergio and I'm going to walk you through the book. So let's begin. 8th annum, Digi Up is certified by the Ministry of Education. It's level B1 of the Common Europe Reading Framework for Languages, based on the competency areas of the student profile, Perfil do Aluno, works systematically on essential learning, aprendizagem, and follows the program in terms of curricular flexibility, based on 21st century skills. Okay, we open up with a table of contents. We have the themes. We have very interesting, engaging themes that are of interest to students in this age category. We talk about media giants, the teen world, food stuff, living in a digital world, no planet B, and going places. Okay, so let's look at the module. First, we have the module page. We have the name of the module we're talking about, in this case, media giants. We have a video that introduces the theme of the module. From there, we have group activities to see how much the students can talk about amongst themselves, what they know about media giants. From there, on the left column, we can see the content that they will learn in this module. On the right side, we also have ICT icon. In here, we can do some digital work. We can do some research. From there, we also have quiz cards to stimulate the comprehension of the theme. From there, from the information we've given them, they will be able to get back to us through autonomy. They're going to talk about what they know in this area. Okay, so we go to the first skills, and the first skills is a reading. And the beauty about this book is that the book is set up, each spread or page is a skill. So you have an option to pick and choose what you want to teach. You're not limited to teaching everything back to back. Keep that in mind. So how would you start a lesson? Well, let's learn. We can take it through a flipped classroom video. What does that mean? That means we're going to give the student homework. They're going to watch the video. When they come to class, they will know more or less about what we're going to talk about in terms of debugging the myth about gaming. So they will have some prior knowledge, making teaching much easier and smoother. From there, we also have a video. The video is based on the text. Okay, so how is the reading organized? Before you checking student knowledge, while you practice a prior knowledge, after you applying of acquired knowledge in a different context using critical thinking. We also have translation of words to help understand the text better. And we go to the next spread. We have the vocabulary spread. Obviously, the vocabulary spread is based on the reading spread. And we have 2 vocabulary spreads in each module. Does it mean you have to do both of them? No, you pick and choose the vocabulary based on the text you chose in the module. Okay, so we have at the back of the book, we have a self-study guide, so they can see all the words translated into Portuguese. Just go into the Digi Guide and look in the Word Up section. From there, all the exercises lead to critical thinking. So throughout our lessons, we're constantly encouraging the student to think critically. And we've guided them because they'll know, okay, now, how does this refer to you? And they're going to have to think about it. From there, we have the formation icon, word building. So we're going to take words that appear in the lesson and we're going to build on those words. We're going to increase their lexical level through adding prefixes, suffixes. So every time you see that icon, that means we're going to increase their vocabulary level. Okay, we also can turn this vocabulary learning process into a mini debate. So we're encouraging the students at this level to debate using the vocabulary they've acquired. Obviously, this will be a stepping stone to secondary education. Okay, we also have the lesson objectives or the targets at the top of the page, and they'll know exactly the reason why they're going to learn this lesson. Okay, and we have this funny icon, which is a phrasal verb cloud, and every time you see that icon, that means we're going to take phrasal verbs related to this theme and we're going to introduce it to them, because we know that is a very difficult area for students to learn. So as we're presenting new vocabulary, we're going to introduce phrasal verbs related to this vocabulary. We go to our grammar spread. Yes, grammar is important also. In the module, it has 2 grammar spreads also. So obviously some are review from previous year. If you feel that your students are comfortable with that grammar, you can skip it, or new grammar for the 8th annum. Okay, once again, we have a grammar reference. So we have the grammar explained explicitly at the back of the book, but we're going to teach the grammar implicit. But before we teach the grammar explicit, we're going to show them a video. They can see the video for homework. It explains the grammar that they will learn in that lesson. So when they come to class, they will have some prior knowledge of that grammar, and they can ask any questions or anything they might not have understood in the video, making class time more flexible, more efficient, and working on the areas they have more difficult. So the exercises that we're going to practice referring to the grammar are graded, and they go from easy to more difficult. And at the end, we always have exercises to practice grammar in a real context, keeping a theme to the module. So they're going to see the grammar in context, not as separate items. Okay, each module has 2 listening sections. Once again, you pick and choose which one you want to do. Within the listening, you have 2 speeds of audio. You have slow and normal, depending on the type of students you have in your class. You also have pronunciation activities to help them pronunciate the words within the thematic area they're learning. We also have 2 speaking lessons. Once again, you pick and choose if you want to do either or you don't have to do it, depending on how much time you have. Okay, within each speaking lesson, you'll always have peer work activity. So we're going to teach them what we expect them to interact in terms of spoken production, and they're going to practice with their colleague. You also have a self-assessment section where the colleague can self-assess the partner, seeing how well they're able to speak or not based on the example. Okay, we have a speak up section at the back of the book for self-study, right? And it provides us dialogue management, speaking schemes, step by step on how we produce or interact in a dialogue. Okay, speaking activities always have a model, so we're going to guide them so they can see what is expected of them through listening, intonation, pronunciation. Okay, and from here we go to the writing spread or the writing page. So each module has 1 general writing text. The various types of writing tasks are developed throughout the whole book. So we cover all the writing tasks in essential learning. So once again, does it mean you have to do all the writing tasks? You choose the ones which you think are most important to, some of which may repeat. So we always have a write-up for self-study, which will teach them, give them example of the writing scheme to help the student. So he always has a private tutor at the back of his book, as he may say. We have a writing video. You can use this as a flipped classroom. They can see the writing at home, and then if they have any doubts, they can take up the doubts, freeing up class time for more productive practice. We also have a writing bank, and within the writing bank we have suggested vocabulary for each type of writing tasks. And the student is given step-by-step guidance and stages on how to construct a text. So before you write, they'll analyze the rubric. While you write, how to put the writing together. After you write, and obviously they'll be able to self-assess each other's writing composition before handing it in to the teacher. Okay, we also have supplementary lessons. Okay, and we've taken these supplementary lessons in a number of ways. So we have optional lessons that correspond to the student profile with the target language of the module. So say you want to take your lesson and you want to focus more on the student profile, but within the thematic area, we've created in another text. So it's up to you to choose which text you want to teach them, the one in the module or the supplementary one, catering to the various types of skills that are found in both texts. Okay, so the themes follow the guidelines of the student profile. We also have the cross-curriculum. Say we want to take it a step forward. We want to work with the music teacher, so we can create the English lesson with a cross-curricular touch to it, in this case, music. So it's what we call the CLIL approach. So it's our interdisciplinary lesson. And within the cross-curricular, it will always touch on the student profile at the same time. We also have extra public speaking skills because we know that public speaking skills is very important for our students. And better not than teach them young. So when they get to the secondary level, they'll be able to speak in public and giving them the essential knowledge they need for the real work world. So we're going to talk within the thematic area. We're going to give them the skills they need and help them to speak in public, as I'm doing right now. So we have lessons dedicated to public speaking skills. Within that, we have tips to help students plan their discourse. And we have tips to improve the quality of their discourse. From that, we have Global Citizens. And Global Citizens takes us into a digital lesson. So there's acquisition of citizenship skills through digital means. In 8th Annual, we talk about good health and sustainable tourism. Once again, they're optional lessons and always linked to the theme of the module. At the end, you have a progress check, 2 pages of review to prepare the students for the summative assessment, and you have the progress check checklist of the mains in the module: reading, vocabulary, grammar, listening, speaking, and writing. And they will self-assess themselves, see how much they have learned. At the back of the book, we have festivities, but we've taken a different outlook to festivities. Instead of the typical festivities, we focus on more international festivities with a large diversity, increasing their cultural awareness, like Diwali, Hanukkah, Earth Day, International Friendship Day. And as you can see, each festivity caters to each seasons of the year. From there, we're also developing a cross-cultural awareness throughout the text. And we're also going to stimulate their brains by giving them curious facts of interest related to the theme of the text. We also have our built-in extensive reader, which is located at the back of the book. And why is it built in? Because we know that the books nowadays have to be recycled. And sometimes the supplementary reader gets lost. So to assure that the reader does not get lost, it's built in. And we've taken it one step forward. And it's not just reading the text, but we will always be working with critical thinking. We're going to stimulate through comprehension, critical thinking, and obviously we're going to do some basic comprehension at the end. And this after can turn into a video and the students can watch the book. Okay, as I had mentioned before, we have a DigiGuide at the back of the book for self-study, an essential element to help students in all the domains. So if they're having difficulty and they want a more step-by-step explanation while they're at home or not with the teacher, they can consult the DigiGuide at the back of the book. Okay, so within the DigiGuide, it's divided into 4 sections. We have Word Up for vocabulary, Grammar Up for explicit grammar explanations, Speak Up, which teaches you the pathways to speaking, and Write Up, which gives you hints and tips on how to organize your writing. So If they're at home, they need help, they always have the Digi Up guide to rely on. Okay, so upon adoption, what exactly does the teacher get? Well, the teacher gets the teacher's book, the teacher's workbook, the planning book, and our new irregular verb bingo game. Okay, we also have our Sala Digital. And within our Sala Digital, you can access the teacher's interactive ebook, which I'll explain in a couple of minutes. You can download PowerPoints, videos, audios, songs, games, extra worksheets, digital posters, and assessment material. So it's there on your platform, Sala Digital. Go into it and download all the material you need. So let's look at the teacher's book, and the teacher's book is in bundle format. So within it, you'll have the lesson objective according to essential learning, aprendizagens essenciais. You have what competencies we're working from Passeio. From there, you has indication when to assign suggested video for homework. We also have 2-speed audios indicating the tracks where you can find the audios. And we have suggested answers for open questions. And finally, all this material, it will tell you where you will be able to find it. In this case, Sala Digital. Okay, and for each lesson, you'll always have a suggested formative assessment. And where can you find that also? In our Sala Digital. We also have the workbook, and within the workbook is divided into various sections. So it has reinforcement of vocabulary, grammar, and writing. So for every vocabulary exercise or grammar exercise or writing exercise in the student book, you will have a reinforcement exercise in the workbook. You have grammar explanations in Portuguese to help those students understand the grammar. You have a fun time, so if the student finishes early, he can keep busy by going into the fun time, recycling vocabulary or grammar through fun game ways. And we have a self-check test that prepares the student for a practice test before writing the actual test. And that can also be found at the book with the key so they can cross-check to see if he's getting it right or wrong. Okay, all there. You have the solutions in the bundle also for the teacher. Okay, we have our planning book. And in our planning book, we have lessons, daily lessons, we have module lessons, we have trimester, semester, and yearly plans. Paper version for the teacher on adoption. Editable in Word, if you download them from our Sala Digital, it's all there for you. Cross-checks with aprendizagens essenciais, perfil do aluno, how long it takes the lesson, where you can get the supplementary material to do a formative assessment if they need extra worksheets to reinforce what they have learned. It's all there. You choose what you want. You can edit it as you want. It's there. Pick and choose. So how long does it take to teach this book? We know that average 8th anno is consisted of around 75 lessons per year. The number of foreseen lessons in Digi Up 8th anno is 52. That leaves us exactly around 23 lessons for formal assessment of oral or comprehension, reading, writing, spoken interaction, spoken production, vocabulary, grammar, for corrections. It allows us to pick and choose supplementary lessons from values lessons, from project, across the curriculum, global citizens, public speaking, festivities. It's your option. So that's how much the whole package in terms of time lasts. Okay, we have the Digi Up bingo. And we know that teaching irregular verbs is a problem. So what have we come up with? We've come up with the Digi Up bingo game. So we've divided the irregular verbs into 3 sections, A to F, for example, J to P, and P to Z. So we ask the students to study the irregular verbs because there's no other way of learning irregular verbs unless you memorize it. But we're going to take it one step forward and we're going to make this fun. So, okay, class, memorize the irregular verbs, A to F. Okay, past simple or participle, it's up to you, or both if you choose. So there's a set of 32 cards for a class set. Each card is different from each other. Teacher calls out the irregular verbs, right? Student identifies them on their card. When they get a straight line, they call out bingo. Now, where does this make it more complex? When the student calls out his bingo line, he has to conjugate the verb for the teacher. So he has to say the past participle or the past simple of the verb. If he doesn't get it right, we continue until a student gets it right. And that's how learning irregular verbs can become a lot of fun, both for the teacher and for the student. Now I'm going to talk to you about the Teacher's Interactive Ebook. And I call this the TBF, Teacher's Best Friend. Because once you have this software with you, you will not want anything else. So within the software, you have access to everything that's in the student book and the workbook. All the answers pop up. You have access to the audios. You have access to all the videos. You have access to the games. You have access to supplementary lessons, to the word list, to the workbook. It's all there.
Yes, I use social media because it is a good way to stay in touch with friends and share photographs and thoughts with them.
Addison Rae is a singer, social media personality, and dancer.
Media giants. Tyler Blevins is a professional American gamer from Detroit, USA, and is well known in the world of esports.
All you need is a computer and a projector. Green board, blackboard, or whiteboard becomes fully interactive. And it makes lessons so much more interesting for the students and easy to teach for the teacher.
Debunking the myths about gaming. Some people say that playing video games isn't good for teens. But what if it is actually healthy and even ends up being helpful for teens? It's true. Playing video games isn't as bad as people think.
It's completely offline, without login, and without installation. So you don't have to worry about using the internet at school. So, Digi Up consists of 41 PowerPoints, vocabulary presentations, grammar, writing, all fully editable in PowerPoint. Where can you find them? Sala Digital. It has 60 videos, presentation videos, flipped classroom videos, reading videos, grammar videos, writing videos, extensive reading videos. Where can you find them? In Sala Digital or the Teacher's Ebook, TBF. 62 audios, 26 reading, speaking audios, listening tasks. Once again, downloadable in Sala Digital or in the Teacher's iEbook. We have Song Bank with contemporary songs in theme with a lesson. Comprehension worksheets, where can you find them also? In Sala Digital. We have games, board games, digital games, word searches, crosswords. Where can you find them also? Sala Digital or in the Teacher's iEbook. Extra worksheets, 3 levels of difficulty, exercises to reinforce reading, vocabulary, and grammar. We have digital posters, thematic posters, all downloadable in Sala Digital. We have assessment, and our assessment bank is extensive because we know how important these tools are for the teacher. So we have diagnostic tests, we have quizzes for reading, we have quizzes for vocabulary, we have quizzes for grammar, we have quizzes for listening, speaking, we have the keys, the audio scripts, we have suggested assessments for assignments in assessment rubrics, we have tasks, we have listening tasks, module tasks in 3 formats, adapted guide and challenge, keys, audio scripts, assessment rubrics, and register grids. Speaking cards, assessment rubrics, register grids. Also, we have downloadable self-assessment forms which you can edit according to what you have taught in the module in peer assessment forms. So we've created a table of suggested assessment tools that gives you a list of everything that can be assessed within the module, including the supplementary material, all there for you to choose. Fully editable, you can choose and pick and change. We've also created quizzes for you based on the various skills that are presented through the module, all editable. We've created the assessment bands in the assessment rubrics for you. We've also created grids that you can transfer the information, all fully editable also in Excel format. We have also all assessment rubrics created for all exercises in the book that can be assessed. Once again, fully editable. We also have our standard tests for summative assessment. We have our listening tests. We have our grammar tests. We have our writing tests. All complete. Pick and choose. You can change them if you'd like. It's up to you. We've also created assessment grids for them, all guided in each skill. And once again, we have the grid to transfer the marks or the scores, all fully editable. We have speaking cards, all A4 format to do oral practice with the students. We've created the assessment rubrics for the speaking, and once again, you have the grid to assess your students, all fully editable. As I mentioned before, our book is not to be done from cover to cover. You pick and choose what you want to do. Obviously, when you get to the end of the module, if you have skipped lessons, you can download the self-assessment and adjust to what you have taught. So the student can self-assess exactly what he has learned rather than the self-assessment at the end of the module. We also have peer assessment forms, so students can peer assess someone speaking or composition if you wish to. And we have Sala Digital. So a teacher has a special access, can create class, name the class. From the class, there's a chat box which you can interact with your students. Okay? You can add a new student anytime. All you have to do is send the link to your student. He's automatically entered into our LMS platform. You can communicate with your students via chat. You can tell them that homework has been placed or assignments has been placed in the Sala Digital. You can tell you when the student went to consult the assignment. If the student has done the assignment, it's all there for you. Okay, you can assign homework. You can send an interactive exercise from the student book or the workbook. The platform will correct it, give a score to the student, and give you a score and tell you how many attempts it took the student to do it and how long it took the student to do. All automatically, which the LMS or our Sala Digital corrects for you. You pick and choose the exercise you want to send. Okay, we also have access to resource bank. You choose and send extra material from Bank de Recursos, which is in the Sala Digital. You can share files with your students, personal files that you have on your computer or any other type of file. You can also share links with your students. I'll have to tell you something. The only thing that the platform doesn't do is correct open-ended questions and compositions. Okay, all possible to do in Sala Digital. Okay, so you're able to check your students' progress. You can see when they've done their work. You can assign homework through the platform. You can see their work. You can export the mark that they get from their quizzes or their homework into your register platform at school. Okay, we also have able to share our platform with the Moodle platform, Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom, and you can access hundreds of resources from the Bank de Recursos PowerPoints, videos, games, all in our Sala Digital. Okay, best yet is you can create tests or choose the ready-made tests we have for you with automatic correction. Once again, let me tell you, the only thing it doesn't correct is open-ended questions and compositions. Okay, so create your own test if you want to. If you don't want to use ours, or you can pick and choose parts of ours and add or edit to your liking through multiple choice questions, matching questions, true or false, etc. You pick and choose what you would like. So what does the student get if you adopt Digi Up 8th Annual? They get the student's book. It includes the Digi Up guide and extensive reading. There's also the workbook, which includes fun time, and they have free access to the Sala Digital, where they can do homework, get extra resource materials that help them do their homework, or you can do online tests. Well, where can I learn more about Digi Up 8th Annual? You can go to www.digi-up.pt. And if you want to come and assist our face-to-face platform, since we are moving away from this pandemic crisis, please sign up at one of our venues through, once again, www.digi-up.pt. And that is the end of my presentation. And thank you for coming along. I'd like to wish you a good end of school year and a great summer. For me, that's all. Have a great evening.